This is Richie from the Metal Cell podcast. I am delighted to welcome Josh Robinson of JSR Audio to the studio. How are you, man?
Yeah. Good to be getting to do something for a change.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Today's a good day.
It's crazy times out there, Josh. What's the story up with G? Are you in Belfast, Eve?
Yeah, right. Right outside it. So there's really nothing open near me.
Right.
And I haven't been going outside much anyway, just trying to keep myself busy with stuff.
Have you been doing the 2-kilometer exercises and all that?
I didn't do it before isolation. I've been going out for maybe like a half-hour walk with the dog each day just to get a bit of air. But honestly, being an engineer, I don't get outside much anyway. So
yeah, of course. Yeah, like luckily enough for me, I'm still able to work. I'm with a pharmaceutical company, so we're designated.
Oh yeah, fighting the good fight then.
Fighting the good fight, yeah. So thankfully, I can get out for 2 days and 2 nights, and then 4 days off, which is grand. You know, so my life my life hasn't changed much really, bar more drinking really. Like the rest
more
of us.
Excuses.
Funnily enough, cheers, get up.
I gave up years ago, but I've had a bottle sitting in my fridge staring at me for the past 3 weeks.
Really, yeah. So,
oh yeah, like old birthday gift.
What is it?
My dad never remembers.
What is it? Jägermeister?
A bottle of whiskey.
Ah, yeah, good man. What make is it?
I don't remember what it is.
But it's in your fridge.
Oh yeah, it's been there for 3 years, dude.
Classic, man, classic. So come here. I was texting really to Cormac Jordan. I said I'd give him a shout. Yeah. He's done stuff with you with Eyes Eternal, 4 tracks.
Mm-hmm. 4 tracks.
Yeah, so Cormac kind of did the vocals, guitar, bass, and the drums were played by some session drummer. Is it Damien, I think?
Yeah, Damien.
Damien.
We just spent the day up in Belfast at my studio tracking the drums for that.
Yeah.
Phenomenal drummer.
And have you worked with Cormac before?
No. I messaged him years ago when he was in his old band, but nothing really came of that because he would trust me a couple of years ago. But yeah, I sort of kept in contact. That way.
Yeah, I listened to one of the tracks. It's absolutely brilliant, and it's got. I think you now have perfected a Josh Robinson sound. Over.
Oh no!
Yeah, man, it's there in spades. Even was the last band you worked with was Survivalist, was it?
Yeah.
Okay. I had them on last night, so that's part of the whole interview with you and them, because I wanted a band that worked with you as well, so they were singing your praises naturally.
Yeah, they're good dudes. I've known most of them from previous bands and stuff, so just naturally came together when they all started this thing.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever Survivalist is.
You gave them fantastic help, and you did all their video stuff as well, lyrical videos and all. Is that part of the package you normally offer, or is it?
Recently, it's been more so. I've always been into all sides of media stuff, and I've sort of taught myself that stuff over the years. But recently, I've been doing a little more for bands instead of just messing around, and it's fun. Splits up the days a bit more.
Yeah, it's a great package to offer a band, especially a band we'd say that wouldn't actually know someone to go to just to get even a lyrical video in. I don't know how complicated it is. I know some bands probably try to do it themselves, but I mean,
it's one of those things that, most of those skills, it sort of takes a while to learn, but generally isn't that hard once you know the basics, So. Yeah. I tend to learn one of those skills every few months to a certain point,
Very good, yeah. And there's a lot of...
I'm just addicted to learning things. Even if I don't end up fantastic at them, it's always something.
Yeah. For example, the programs that are out there, we'll say for lyrical videos and stuff, there's a lot of real good ones, and they're not actually, you're not paying a fortune for them either.
No, there's loads of stuff out there. Like there's even free stuff if you're willing to put a bit more time into learning them, because usually the free stuff, there's not as many resources out there to learn that stuff.
I use I'm trying to learn DaVinci for editing.
Oh, DaVinci Resolve, yeah, that's a great program. I think it actually did cost some money a couple of years ago, but
it's free
now.
It's free.
Yeah, can't complain about it.
Yeah, and I noticed as well that you put up a track. I enjoyed it actually. Working on Reaper with let me think of who it is. Lockhorns, man. That was very interesting.
Yeah.
Is Reaper your main?
There was audio issues. Yes, yeah.
Cool.
I've been using Reaper for 10 years now. It might be 10. I did about a year on Cubase before that.
Okay. You didn't do Audacity or anything like that?
I had probably a few months of Audacity, but I didn't consider myself to be doing anything useful at that point. That was just me like throwing my laptop in front of a guitar amp and putting some sort of sound together.
Yeah. And I suppose, again, it was free, but you'd know it was free as well. I was just kind of trying out the first maybe 3 or 4 podcasts. I used Audacity, but it was just so glitchy. I just gave up on it. And I got the Reaper then in, and I haven't looked back since. It's a great program.
Oh, yeah. Reaper's great if you just take a bit of time to learn it. It's the same with anything, though, really. Like any DAW that you start out in, you're probably going to get somewhere if you stick to it.
Yeah. Like we'll say going back to, I suppose, when you were a teenager, it was mostly bands you were playing in, or had you an ambition maybe to kind of go, or did it naturally happen?
I did this. I think I went about things completely different from everyone else, because when I was about 15, I got a guitar for Christmas, and then I immediately did what I could to record something with it, with like Audacity and a laptop mic. And I think I actually saw myself more as a recording engineer after those first few months than I did as a musician.
Cool.
Still am sitting at about the level I was at 17 with every instrument I play. I've just learned how to make it sound better with recording.
Yeah, and are you self-taught in relation to working with all the tools in the studio?
I would say I was self-taught until about 3 years ago, when I started sort of taking some courses as well to push myself further.
Okay.
But all the basics, and I was already making money at that stage, Right. So everything up until about 2-3 years ago, I was self-taught.
And to get your experience then up to that point, were you working with anybody, sitting in on studio sessions, or?
Not sitting in on other sessions, but I was just relentlessly like bothering bands come and record something with me for like a tenner. When I started out, it was like, I'd give me £10 to cover the electric that I'm using for the day, and I'll record whatever we can. And I did that for like 5 or 6 years before I started taking it seriously.
And what about even doing that? Was it kind of remotely, or had you a place?
No, that I was lucky. I grew up, my mum's house had a garage attached, and I just sort of took over that garage. Right. Started filling it with gear over the years. So I was always very hands-on. I always recorded the bands that I mixed at first. And I think that helped a lot as to where I am now, because I made so many contacts in the local industry,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What about your equipment now? Like, kind of, when you look back, maybe 5-6 years ago to what you have now, like, I'd say, is there a big change?
Yeah, there's definitely a big change. I think 5-6 years ago, that was roughly when I moved into this house that I'm in now.
Okay.
And I had like a decent computer, maybe I'm thinking like a 2-input interface and some okay speakers, and I made that work for me for about a year until I moved into the last studio I was working in there. a place called Bearcat, which is, you know, it was well suited. It had its own live room and everything. Just moved all my stuff down there. And because I was in there with access to that, I had a lot more sort of free cash to upgrade.
Yeah.
So I think I went from that computer, speakers, and basic interface to 3 full recording setups with 16 inputs each. Many more mics. You know, like I've got a full studio worth of gear now, and I've just built my own studio as well. I moved out about 6 months ago from the old one.
Oh, right. Okay. So are you
yeah,
are you closer to Belfast then? Is it or?
I'm in the same building. It's like a big
Right.
commercial mill that just has units to rent. So I'm actually in the exact same place, just a different floor.
Right.
But I don't know. It's probably been about 5 years since I properly started building up equipment, as opposed to hacking together stuff.
Yeah, sure. You have to start somewhere. And what about?
100%.
What about? Have you got any kind of sponsorship in with certain? Say, I know you use Focusrite and Fractural Audio and API and Shure. Any luck?
I wish I had sponsorships. I actually almost ended up with a Symbol endorsement of all things about a year and a half ago, but looking into it, the company was a little bit dodgy. But yeah, that's the closest I've gotten is a dodgy company with an instrument that I barely play.
And how do you think yourself you can kind of go out and get these sponsorships?
Man, I will make no attempt to make you think that I have any idea how to do any of that. I think Aiden's got some sponsorships from Amphion and stuff for
That's
speakers,
right.
isn't it?
Yeah, from Finland. Yeah.
I need to pick that dude's brain.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it is actually just getting on a flight and going to these shows, you know, and talking to people.
Yeah. If I could even get an invite, that'd be nice. You know, a lot of those trade shows are invite only, sadly. But
oh, really? Yeah.
Either invite only or you'll pay extortionate prices, I think, to get in otherwise.
Yeah.
But honestly, I have this thing where I just sit down and focus on tasks and then don't think about any of the logistics behind it. So I'll record a band and mix and master it and give them it all, and I won't have thought anything about how to like push myself forward.
Right.
You know, I just sit down with the project at the time. So there's probably a lot of stuff I could be learning and using to better my life.
Well, I mean, you know, like you're probably young enough anyway. I think someone said you were 30, is it? No, are you near enough
30?
there?
Fuck.
No?
I'm 26.
26? Right. I'll blame Taylor for that.
I've had much worse guesses than 30, though, so...
I'm going to blame Taylor from Survivalist.
Taylor's an old bastard himself, is he not?
Well, he's the guy that hung you out, man.
Taylor, secretly 73 years old.
So we'll say when brands then come to you, Josh, like I presume a lot of them you would know in advance. But do you research, we'll just say, for example, a new band come on the scene, do you research their past material?
If it's a band I haven't heard of before at all, then I'm straight on to YouTube or whatever if they have past stuff. Mm-hmm. Usually I'll try and get sort of a practice room demo as well from them, because it's always good to see how stuff plays together.
Yeah.
But if there's really nothing out there, I've been known to just YOLO and take a chance, and it kicks me in the ass.
Okay.
I have no sense at all in life. My entire ethos is, it'll be fine. Yeah.
But like, I mean, obviously there's specific questions we'll say you ask a band, we'll say that's fresh in, to kind of gauge what kind of sound they want, what influences them as musicians, if you don't have much to work with.
When I'm contacted by a band, like the first thing I'll do is say, can we get a group chat together? Because I don't know, it feels impersonal when you're talking to one member of a band and just try and discuss, the whole band's intention.
Yeah.
So I try and get a group chat on Facebook or WhatsApp and then just barrage them with questions. Although I've found recently I'm getting barraged with the questions, which is weird. It's like, here, you contacted me, lads.
Yeah,
Can I at least have some of my answers first?
And we'll say, ideally speaking, for an EP, presuming a band kind of are really sharp at and have the songs locked down, would it be kind of a 3 or 4 day session you should get it in? Or
yeah, that sounds about right. So I tend to take about a day per track, but that's standard metal band format.
Okay.
A track could easily take 3 or 4 days, depending on what you want to put into it.
Yeah.
The first time I recorded Words That Burn, we took 3 days for the song, and every minute of those 3 days was used because of the amount of stuff we were putting in there.
Was that for layers? What was that? The album Pyres?
That
or was the one
When We're
that?
Forgotten, the first single off that album.
Okay,
but this was probably 6 months before we started on the album. That track was recorded way ahead of time.
Right. Okay.
But so that's one extreme. And I've had a band come in and literally track an 11-track album in a day.
What? Because, are you serious?
Yeah. They live tracked it all, they played together and we overdubbed a few vocals, but these guys were just ridiculous tight. And now I'm going to make myself feel like a prick and say that I do not remember the name of that band because the album never came out. The band disbanded. And
okay.
Yeah, phenomenal musicians, something just obviously personal in the band didn't work out.
Also,
wow, I'm completely drawn a blank.
That's okay. There's no hassle there. What about as well? A lot of the lads from Survivalist and a few others that I was in contact as well said one of your best traits as well as a producer is your kind of empathy for them, and you get on really well with them. You don't put them under any pressure. You're chilled out dude.
Oh yeah. No, there's no point going to record a song somewhere that you can't relax and enjoy yourself. I think having that relaxed attitude is a part of what it can add to the songs as well. Because if you're not sitting there stressing out, you have more time to think about here. What could we add here? That wee chorus is sounding a wee bit dull. How do we layer there? It's not. You're not under that stress of this isn't good enough. You're more under improvement mood.
Yeah.
Good vibes go a long way.
Yeah, of course, obviously. But then again, like, do you know yourself when there comes a point where you actually have to kind of come forward and go, lads, this will sound way better if you do X, Y, and Z?
See, I think the chill attitude in general sort of lends itself to me turning around and being able to say to the band, lads, this bit's shit. I tend to think of the bands that come in more as friends that I'm working with, new friends if it's a new band or whatever. So
yes.
Like we'll be sitting there just chatting away as if we've known each other for 18 years.
Yeah.
So it does, so if something isn't working out, it is very easy to just turn around and say, it's a bit shit. What else could we do?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, look, the way your body of work is building as well, you certainly are in that position now, Do you feel that you could go a different direction? Are you happy enough working with metal bands at the moment?
I think this is just sort of a thing that naturally evolved. Like I started out with metal bands because there was a lot of them around Belfast at the time, and I like metal.
Yeah.
I have no real preference for genre these days, though. I'll work with anything because I just generally like music as well, as long as it is musically well done.
Yeah.
So I think sort of because I've done so many decent sounding metal releases that a lot of metal bands come to me, but it's definitely not the only thing I enjoy doing,
Yeah, of course, yeah. I'm just going to name out a few bands there that you worked with, like Ketos's First Strike. That's some album, man. And that is, again, your production work on it, mixing everything, it's just so sharp, man. You would even like, I just thought, wow, that's incredible. And then I went, I bet you Josh, that's Josh. And I looked at the back. And sure enough, there you were, you know.
It's funny. I've had a few people say to me that they've listened to stuff, went, that sounds like Josh, and then the obscure German grindcore band that they're listening to was indeed mixed by Josh.
Really? Yeah, classic.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's the weirdest one. There's a band specifically. This band was called Placenta Power Fist.
Jesus
and
Christ.
Out of the blue, sort of got contacted by their recording engineer for me to mix it, and then probably about 2 days after it released, I had about 3 messages from people going, wow, I was listening to this, it slammed, realized it was you.
Brilliant.
I honestly didn't think anyone that I knew would have ever heard that, but yeah.
I came across you probably, now you have come up a few times, but the first time I really sat up and noticed was a band called Nomadus. An Apex.
Yes.
I have to give them a shout out, Freddie and Neil.
They're great guys. I haven't seen them in forever, though.
Yeah. I was hanging out with Freddie actually for Testament for a small bit.
Nice. How were Testament?
That was the best I've ever seen him. I've seen him like 4 or 5 times now at least. And that was the best I've seen him because they have the perfect lineup now. With Gene on drums, Steve DiGiorgio on bass, Alex is back, Chuck and...
I've only seen them once, and it was with Megadeth in like 2005, 6 maybe.
Yeah, they're fantastic, man. That was brilliant. Of course, that was the gig where a load of them became ill, That was literally the last gig I was at, and probably for a lot of people.
Good point. Yeah, I think it was probably 2 days after that or something. The lockdown on public events.
Yeah, they were all sick. Probably, I don't know. Did they carry it into that gig? You wouldn't think it looking at it, but probably they did a few English dates after that, and it was the Dead Angel drummer that kind of pointed that out, that he actually knew that there was people sick on that tour, and he got it then himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I hadn't heard any of that.
Yeah, so I mean, that, as I said, that was the last time I saw Freddie. That Apex Brett song is an absolute fantastic track, man.
Yeah, that was actually they played. I think their first show was at that Metal of the Mass competition.
Correct.
And the first time I saw them was the final, and they completely floored me.
Yeah.
And I remember Apex Breath being played at the show. And the moment they got into the studio and were sort of chatting to me about it, I was like, right, which songs have you got here? And which one is that one you played? I think second to last or something at Metal of the Masses, because we're doing that one.
Brilliant. I also loved your work as well with Horrenda, Nerve Gas.
Yes. Have they released that album yet?
Yeah, it's out, yeah.
It's out, okay. I think it was about 6 months or something since I finished mixing it to when I heard it being announced.
Yeah.
Those guys are nuts.
Yeah, they're great players, man.
I think there's a studio diary as well.
You're spot on. You're spot on. You're right. You're dead right.
I think that's out now, yeah.
Yeah, correct. Like I could just name drop loads of bands to you that obviously, Heel of Achilles.
The Boys.
Yes.
They were one of the first bands that I properly worked with when I was at a stage that I could do anything decently. And they've stuck with me all these years. So big up to the Boys.
And Peasant to a King as well. I'm just naming out
every time. If you're wondering why I'm laughing every time you mention a band, every time a band is mentioned, there'll be this one moment in the studio that'll stick out to me as hilarious. And
well, give us Peasant to a King's one, and they won't mind.
Peasant to a King's is Ben, the vocalist, in a full priest robe, singing a song about molesting children. He got into a priest robe to do the vocals for that song.
Oh, fucking brilliant! There you go, man. See, you've got all this information that I need to get out of you.
Oh, this is the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, you gotta get this out there.
And again, Words That Burn, love them on the show.
Good lads.
You've worked with them a fair bit.
Oh, I don't know if I can repeat these stories. Like, it's not that they're bad. It's just
Excess.
we do bully Ronnie. We're really bully Ronnie.
And one other band that just got my attention as well, because they were fairly different, was Neon Empire.
Yeah, Neon. They are different. Definitely, there's a lot of synth work going on.
Correct, yeah.
And it's almost hard trying to get all that in there. You know, they show up with demos and stuff, or they send it to me beforehand with probably about 19, 20 layers of synths in it. By the end, there's probably 8 left. You know, like
Okay.
I get brutal with those guys.
Really, yeah.
But yeah, it comes out good in the end. You know?
Yeah, that kind of music is an interesting side of it as well. I mean, do you find that
that's kind of what I started out with? Because when I started, that stuff was really big. You know, Asking Alexandria and all that stuff.
Okay, yeah. See, I wouldn't be kind of into that as such, but as I said,
totally get you. I totally get you. It's it's one of those phases that you look back on, and you're like, oh, I listened to that.
Yeah, but like the likes of Carpenter or Brute, then kind of would bring you back to it. It's actually okay, you know.
There's been a bit of a resurgence with new metal as well, like the early 2000s stuff, and I am loving it.
Yeah,
because
exactly,
I was like 8 or 9 when it was coming out, so
Jesus,
I didn't get to fully appreciate that stuff.
Do you remember that movie Drive with Ryan Gosling in it? He was a stunt.
Oh yeah, yes, I remember that movie. That was a bad
soundtrack.
Movie.
That soundtrack was amazing.
You know, I couldn't get through the whole movie because I think I saw a few memes at the time, you know, just of him going, "I drive," and that was all I could think of. You know, memes ruin things sometimes.
So since we're on movies now and I brought it up, what would be your favorite soundtrack to a movie?
Ooh, favorite soundtrack to a movie? I'm probably going to forget. I'm probably going to miss something like really obvious.
Yeah.
Oh, the Terminator 2 soundtrack. There, easy answer. Terminator 2.
A lot of synths going on with that as well.
Fantastic soundtrack.
Mm.
Like, I actually sat and watched the behind the scenes not the behind the scenes, but someone reviewing and talking about the equipment that they'd used on that, and it was a good 6 hours that I sat watching this video, and then immediately realized what time it was at 4 a.m. I just get sucked into that stuff.
I'm showing my age, but I was only talking about this in the previous podcast. Judgment Night, with all the bands.
Judgment Night.
Yeah, it's
I'm not familiar.
There you go, man. Cypress Hill and House of Pain, all linked up with Fate No More, Helmet. Ice-T was with Slayer, so it was a mixture of rap and metal together.
Have you seen the Body Count? Have actually done a cover of Raining Blood recently as well.
Love Body Count, man. Yeah, I've seen them live, man. They're great fun.
They're fantastic. Nice.
Yeah. Rocky George is playing with him now. As far as I know, he was with Suicidal Tendencies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Ice-T is a cool
I
one.
literally, like, Body Count comes up, I go, Ice-T, yep, I'm having a wee watch of that.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at following what members go in and out of bands, though.
Yeah.
Terrible at it.
I sure look, as I said, like, kind of, there's so much multimedia out there now, you can't but find.
Oh, yeah. If you tried to stay on the cutting edge of everything metal these days, you'd go nuts.
No, even just the amount of bands up in Northern Ireland alone is incredible. So it is.
Yeah.
It's a huge scene.
It's
there
really
now,
exploded. Since 2011 or so, it has completely exploded up here.
Yeah.
There's still the odd lull and stuff, but generally speaking, before all this crap, there was a gig every week, you know?
Yeah.
2 or 3 pretty decent bands.
Yeah, I know. Jesus, like, you look at it now. I mean, I was up at the Elder Druid launch. That was fantastic as well, you know?
I missed out on that, unfortunately, but everyone that I know that's been has said it was amazing.
Yeah. Again, they're another huge band from Northern Ireland with the Crawling as well. I have to shout
Yes,
as I usually do anyway. Andy's paying me a fortune.
Andy is
but
a
look,
madman.
yeah, they're a fantastic package as a band. You know, they do everything themselves. You know, you have to admire that.
Yeah, I like huge props to Andy for the amount of work he undertakes.
Yeah. Another band that you worked on as well, I have to give him a shout out, is Enshroud.
Yes,
You've got a great
those
sound.
those lads that we shall not mention any names of.
Ah, they want to stay anonymous, man. Let the music take front and center, which is impressive.
It's weird because, and I kind of predicted this in the session when we were recording the vocals. The vocalist, whoever he may be named, on one song, he kind of sounded a bit like my vocal style from when I was in a band. And I said there in that moment, someone's going to accuse me of being in this band because it's anonymous. And the day they released those two first songs, yep, I had about 6 messages. Is it you?
Really? Are you serious?
So I'm guessing that you're privy to some of the information and can confirm that it is indeed not me.
Yes, it's not you. Absolutely, you're spot on.
Wait.
You're okay there, but
cool. That's cleared up for your audience anyway.
I'm getting worried now. You did have a contribution to it, though. I'd bet.
Oh yeah, some of the drums. Some of the drums were written by me.
Yeah, I fucking knew it, man. What about?
It's not as if I can actually play any drums.
Do you know? We'll say when you're recording and mixing, and are you like Aidan Cunningham? I focus in on Aidan because Aidan is probably a drum doctor. He loves delving into drums. What about you? Is rhythm your favorite or?
It's drums. Yeah, it's always drums.
It's drums, yeah.
Any engineer that's been doing things for more than about 3 or 4 years, it's drums.
Yeah.
Anyone else is a liar, you know? They're just so interesting in that you can change them to sound completely different from what they originally did. And it can still work, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
would you agree with it?
Times
would you agree with Aidan? The cymbals are the hardest part.
Oh yeah. Like the only time that I've ever had, the point that I started having good sounding cymbals in my mixes was when I went out and spent a couple of grand on my own cymbals, so that drummers can come in with their shit ones, and I can tell them to put them away. Cymbals are an absolute bastard, man.
And I suppose some drummers like to ride on them more than others.
Some drummers use rides as crashes, which is terrible. It feels good to play on, you know, like a big chunk of metal, and you can lay into it, but it sounds like shit. And I think that a lot of drummers confuse the feel and the sound.
Class, man. I have to give one more shout out as well to Oracle and that album Novissima. Is that how you pronounce it? Novissima?
Yeah, I don't even think those guys know how to pronounce it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you could ask the band, they'll give you 5 different answers on how you pronounce it.
Okay, that's cool. I can get away with that. And you did the video for them as well, didn't you? For Hollow, was it? Or?
I did. Well, I edited a video.
Okay.
I edited a couple of videos because I edited their Bloodstock set last year as well.
That's right.
Yeah. Just sort of, they needed something done, and they had a load of footage on their Dropbox, so I threw it together.
Man, you're the complete package. To be fair, like, and
it gives me something to do.
I know.
I never sleep.
And at the moment, then, Josh, are you taking submissions from bands? I know we all have to keep our social distancing, but are you still taking submissions that you can kind of master and mix tracks?
For mixing and mastering, yeah, I'm sort of working away, and at the minute, because of a lot of people being out of work, I'm sort of taking what the band can afford as payment, you know.
Fair play,
like
too.
Not something that I'm going to be working 20 hours on a project for a $5, not that sort of thing. But generally speaking, I'm trying to work with bands to get them their product for sort of what they can afford, and obviously I'm talking with bands about recording sessions, but we don't know when that's sort of going to happen at the minute.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to keep her going.
Look, I mean, I'd imagine, and you would sincerely hope that a lot of these guys, okay, so they're isolated, but I'd imagine they are still writing serious material and stuff, you know?
Yeah, there's a few bands that I had to postpone with that have messaged me and said, you know, that they've now got like double the amount of songs that they had before, which leaves me hopeful for being able to pay my bills when lockdown's over.
I know that's obviously the biggest concern for you, man. I mean, I'm just trying to think, you know, down south here, we've been given kind of a rough date of May. Does that correspond with what you have as well, or information wise?
I think it's looking like about mid-May at the minute, but we haven't really got anything concrete. Although I live quite cheaply anyway, you know, I don't live in a fancy area or anything, so it's not too bad for me. You know, I can stomach it, I can muscle through it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, as I said, I'll put all your links down below, and to be fair as well, as you said, you're offering really competitive prices as well.
It's honestly, I don't even think it's the money. It's more just having something to do, so I don't go nuts, you know.
Yeah. And is Michael Scott still with you?
Yeah. I've known him for years, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get rid of him anytime soon. Yeah, he's still down most of the sessions, helping out and taking over when my frail little hands get tired.
Yeah, and Mike probably just sat in on the sessions and kind of got to know. Did you kind of train him up?
Yeah, we used to be in a band together. Probably 4 or 5 years ago. 2014, 6 years ago. Jesus. Yeah, but we were in a band together, and he's just sort of like never left. Yeah, he wasn't so much in recording sessions for the last couple of years until he came on board there.
Yeah.
But you know, I'd hang out with the dude multiple times a week for years there. He picked up stuff, and he became a real useful person to have around because he knows how I work, and if I need something changed quickly and don't want to have to run back and forth, he's there.
Yeah, cool.
Or the other way around, you know.
Yeah, that's great, man. I mean, as I said, it's probably a lonely enough business if you don't have at least one guy to bounce ideas off and fucking.
I mean, kind of, but I think even at the sessions that he's not there, you sort of can latch onto a band member every once in a while. You know, you just sort of bring them in. You're in the inner circle now. You sit here and we discuss things. You know, you just got to find the one that isn't crazy.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's probably fucking.
Or the one that is crazy, because sometimes that leads to better ideas.
I was just going to say it. Yeah. I was just going to say it.
Yeah.
So before I leave you go, I want to ask you to recommend, first of all, an album that people should listen to at the moment, preferably an Irish band, Irish metal band.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to say that The Boats by Greystag. It's not quite an album, you know, but such a release.
Yeah, class.
Was that Aiden? Was it Aiden that did that? Or was it
I should know
Mick and Track Mix? It was one of them two.
I'm going to go with Mick.
Fair enough. Yeah, one of those two. They're both great at what they do. So, you know, Either way, it sounds phenomenal. Great songs. Arrangements are fantastic.
And crucially as well, they're absolutely brilliant live.
I keep missing them.
Ah, okay.
They've been up in Belfast a load in the last few months, and I keep missing them because I'm in sessions.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Okay, so that's an album. A book? What you reading, man?
No. Okay, I'm going to go with my old recommendation from many years ago because honestly, I haven't read a book in years. I'm a horrible, horrible person. How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Cool.
And that's for the business heads out there, because there's so many concepts that I am not applying to my life that I should be.
Yeah. An artist or a painter? A visual artist that designs albums or...
Colin Bolger, that dude,
yeah.
Dabolga Designs, yeah, his stuff's fantastic.
Nice one, man. he is on the money with his designs and everything. Talented dude. And
it's such a unique style as well. You know, like you look at the picture that he's done and you know it's him immediately.
Correct. Yeah, correct. I think it's just the whole embracing of the Celtic side of him is being allowed. He's been allowed to express himself with it, and his work with bands as well. It's just like a signature now, and it's fantastic to see. As well as he sings
there was
well, which helps as well.
Yeah, there was a while there in 2017 where I think 3 or 4 bands that I worked with all went with him for album art, and they just look so pretty together. I actually think I have the CD sitting right beside me. No, I don't. I'm a liar.
What
I do not have them beside me.
Lockhorns, is it?
But there was Lockhorns, and then there was Victim Royal, and oh god, what's the other one? There's 3 here, I think. But they're all so distinct, but they fit together so well. Correct, the color palettes are fantastic, and
yeah, he actually talked about that.
How did I end up with art as the longest one I was talking about there?
Hey, because I love art, man, and that's another part of the show that I love promoting. Is
I mean, on my end, I went off on one.
So come here. Thanks for coming on the show, Josh. Wish you nothing but success. Problem, a huge fan of your work, as are many. And to get in contact with you, is it, straight through to direct messages or?
JSR Audio Facebook page is probably the easiest because you don't need to friend request me or anything then, So I'll get it immediately. But otherwise, just my Facebook. I accept most people.
Okay, cool.
So,
So I hope you pull through this and get to work on a shitload of albums, man, in May and June anyway. And as I said, we all enjoy your work and keep going, man.
Thanks, man. It's been great talking to you and good to get a proper chat with someone outside the house.
Cool, man. So you've been listening to the Metal Cell podcast with Richie, and I've just done a great interview there with Josh Robinson. Check out all his stuff. I'll have the links below on the interview. And take care, Josh.